body's health defenses work. Let's talk about diabetes. Now, diabetes is not one disease, actually, although we code it that way as doctors. I'll tell you, diabetes is a lot of different diseases with a lot of different problems. We try to put an umbrella name on it. But I want to share with you one thing that we do know about diabetes. Okay, so we're not going to have time to go through every problem that diabetic patients have. But let me share with you that in diabetes, the heart is affected, the kidneys affected, the eyesight's affected, the brain can be affected, nerves are affected. Well, it turns out that one of our health defenses, which is our stem cells, that overage that gets packed away when we're born, our stem cells are normally regenerating us from the inside out. Again, silently, we're sleeping and our stem cells are, let's replace that part of the liver that doesn't look so good. It's kind of like, the stem cells are like the people that are continuously manicuring your garden and your lawn and your property. You don't even have to worry about it. They're taking a look to say, let's go ahead and put another one there. And so we can, and it helps us regenerate. Our livers can regenerate. Our tip of our lung can regenerate. Our nerves can regenerate. Okay. And we're beginning to realize that parts of our heart can regenerate and even our brain can regenerate, just only too slowly. Now, what happens, and that's normal, healthy people who do not have diabetes. What happens in diabetes? Well, we know that number one, as we age, we start losing some of the potency of our stem cells. So our stem cells just get a little duller as we get time. Think about their flashlight with a battery, okay? Got the battery a long time, you've used the flashlight a long time, it's a little dimmer. You're going to go outside with a walk on your street at night after dark, and the bulb isn't quite as bright. And that's what happens as we age. So it's for that reason, a lot of people and these are some of the diseases that stem cells seem to be impaired: Alzheimer's, macular degeneration, osteoporosis, a lot of different ones, including erectile dysfunction. Well, and that's the reason why, from the biotech perspective, so many people are trying to develop stem cell therapy. Now, I'm not talking about, I've been involved with this. I'm just telling you, this is not the corner strip mall where you get your knee or your elbow injected or your shoulder injected. I'm telling you, as somebody who's been involved with stem cell therapy, it's not ready for prime time. We know it works. We haven't figured out how to make it work well enough for the FDA to approve it. So it's going to take some more years to work on it. But guess what? Food and foods can actually work on it. So diabetes, we also know, now you take aging and you put diabetes on top of that. We know in patients with diabetes, in this case, comparing 40 patients, 20 of them had no diabetes, 20 of them had type 1 diabetes, and you just measure their stem cells in their blood. This is actually a research project that was actually done at Vanderbilt University, and you just measure it, and you can see that diabetes actually leads to a decrease in stem cells. Now, foods can reverse that defect, and what are some of the foods? Well, omega-3 fatty acids, which you can get from oily fish, all right? Salmon, sardines, anchovies, but actually even shellfish contain omega-3 fatty acids, can actually restore the defective stem cells that are found in diabetes. Okay, it's really quite amazing that something you can eat can actually kind of turn back the clock and give stem cells more energy. And again, this is not about treatment. This is really observing what actually happens. In diabetes, you get stunning of the stem cells. Diet, you can actually reverse the function of the stem cells. This is food as medicine research, all right? Not a recommendation. I'm sharing with you as a scientist and as a doctor working in this field, what we're actually seeing. And yet, we do know that eating seafood is one of the healthy proteins, sources of protein that you can have. What about plant-based? Well, here's one. This is actually a cacao pod. This is dark chocolate cacao is made from this. It's a plant-based food. I'm not talking about the candy bar. That's a confection. It's got added sugar. It's got fats, unhealthy fats. It's got all kinds of chemical preservatives. I'm talking about 85% dark chocolate. It's bittersweet, mostly bitter. Okay. What's really interesting is that clinical studies have been done looking at people with coronary artery disease. These are men in their 60s who have coronary artery disease. They have heart disease already, and some of them have diabetes as well. And at the very beginning, you measure how many stem cells in their bloodstream. Remember, the stem cells can help regenerate the blood flow, the endothelium, the lining of the blood vessels. So you give them 2 cups of hot cocoa a day to drink. And the hot cocoa is made with high flavanol cacao, so dark chocolate, 85% or higher, twice a day. And a month later, you measure their stem cells all over again. And guess what? You can have up to a 2-fold increase in the number of stem cells that are in the bloodstream. Now you actually measure blood flow. When they used an ultrasound to measure the blood flow in their arms, they also found that they had up to 2 times the improvement in blood flow as well. Food is medicine research. With foods that most people don't hate chocolate. And this is really interesting. But again, it's dark chocolate and it's the polyphenols that are in it. So there's lots of foods that can stimulate stem cells. And again, I have lists and tables in my book as well. And if you come to my website at Dr. William Li, drwilliamli.com, you can sign up for my newsletter. I'm putting out new information all the time for free, really talking about foods, more foods that are being discovered every week that actually influence and impact on these health defenses, including our stem cells. I want you to notice on the right-hand column at the second to the last, squid ink, black pasta also protects stem cells, which is pretty cool because if you've ever had black rice in Spain or black pasta in Italy, it's pretty tasty. The squid uses that ink in order to escape from predators, and it's edible. It's really briny taste, and it actually protects stem cells as well. So again, I think it's really amazing when we're actually discovering all the things that foods can actually do. Now, there are patterns that enhance stem cells, how we eat, and patterns that can harm stem cells. And I think what's really important is that the things that harm stem cells are the things we already know. Too much fat, unhealthy fats, too much salt, hyperglycemia, too much sugar. So one reason to stay young and to really allow your body's defenses to help regenerate your health, continuously maintain and regenerate your health, is to eat healthy patterns of food that you can see on that left-hand side.